Agent Mark Davis squinted at the satellite images strewn across his desk. 30 years with the FBI's Special Projects Division had taught him to trust his instincts, and something about the shadowy facility in Nevada's desert made his skin crawl. "They're building something big out there," he told his partner, Agent Lisa Walker. "And whatever it is, it's not in any official budget." Lisa nodded, her expression grim. 3 whistleblowers from different aerospace contractors, all telling the same story. "A Starship," Mark said, tasting the word. "Not a rocket. Not a spaceplane. A genuine, faster-than-light capable Starship." The images showed a massive hangar complex, power requirements that dwarfed small cities, and transportation of exotic materials that shouldn't exist according to public scientific knowledge. Dr. James Wilson, the physicist who had contacted them last month, had paid with his life. His accident occurred hours after he'd smuggled out technical specs that made Lisa's head spin. As a former astrophysicist herself, she recognized enough to know humanity had made a quantum leap. "We need to get inside," Mark said, reaching for his coat. Their investigation led them through a labyrinth of classified projects, shell corporations, and black budgets. They discovered a trail of mysterious astronomical observations dating back decades, signals and anomalies that had been systematically hidden from the scientific community. Colonel Robert Thomas, their reluctant inside source at the Pentagon, finally broke his silence after 3 meetings. "It's not just about building the ship," he whispered, eyes constantly scanning the diner where they met. "It's about what's coming, why we need it." He slid a thumb drive across the table. 15 years ago, we detected something approaching our solar system, something that shouldn't be possible. Later that night, as they reviewed the files in a motel room, Lisa's face went pale. "These energy signatures, Mark, these are identical to the Ganymede anomaly of 2028, which means whatever the military is building, they're responding to something already here." Lisa's fingers trembled as she pointed to the screen. "And these materials they're using for the hull, they're not just advanced. They're designed to mimic technology we've already encountered." As dawn broke, their phones buzzed simultaneously with an urgent summons from their director. The secrecy was ending. In 12 hours, the president would address the nation. Earth's first Starship hadn't been built to reach the stars. It had been built because something from the stars had already reached us. Dr. Emma Reed had never expected to lead humanity's most ambitious project. 5 years ago, she'd been a theoretical physicist publishing papers on exotic matter that most of her colleagues considered elegant but impractical mathematics. Then the military had shown up at her university office with classified images and readings that confirmed her wildest theories. Project Prometheus isn't just the next step in space exploration, she explained to the assembled engineers and scientists in the vast underground facility. It's a necessary leap if humanity is to survive what's coming. The Starship took shape in the cavernous hangar, its graceful hull incorporating technologies that had been mere speculation a decade earlier. The gravity drive, her personal contribution, would create a localized distortion in space-time, allowing the vessel to sidestep Einstein's cosmic speed limit. Tom Jackson, the chief engineer, wiped sweat from his brow as they activated the drive for the first time. "We're harnessing the energy equivalent of a small star," he muttered, "all to chase something we barely understand." The prototype drive hummed to life, floating serenely in its containment field as measurements confirmed Emma's equations. The impossible was becoming routine. What the public didn't know, what only 53 people on the planet knew, was that key components of the technology hadn't been invented. They'd been reverse-engineered from fragments discovered buried beneath the Antarctic ice sheet in 2029. Fragments of a material that carbon dating placed at approximately 8,000 years old, yet contained atomic structures unknown to modern science. They were breadcrumbs, General William Hayes told Emma during one of their late-night briefings, left for us to find when we reached the right technological threshold. The question no one could answer. Breadcrumbs left by whom? And why? Construction accelerated as astronomical observations confirmed that the anomaly was changing course, making corrections that no natural phenomenon could explain. It was headed directly for Earth, its estimated arrival now less than 8 months away. The ship's AI integration caused heated debates among the leadership. The processing power needed to navigate the complexities of faster-than-light travel exceeded what conventional computers could handle. They needed a more adaptable intelligence, one that could make intuitive leaps that even Emma's brilliant mind couldn't anticipate. David Miller, the reluctant software architect who'd pioneered quantum neural networks, finally provided the solution. Not a true AI, he insisted, a guided intelligence with hard boundaries. Enough flexibility to solve novel problems, but core directives that cannot be overridden. As the Starship neared completion, Emma often found herself standing on the observation deck, staring at their creation. 182 meters of gleaming hull, powered by theoretical physics, made manifest through human determination, and the mysterious technological fragments that someone, or something, had left for humanity to find. "We're calling it the Odyssey," General Hayes announced at the final project briefing. Because, like its namesake, it's a journey into the unknown, with the hope of returning home. 3 days later, the mountain above the facility silently split open, revealing a sliver of night sky, as the Odyssey prepared for its maiden voyage. Captain Michael Anderson had flown everything from experimental aircraft to the Mars orbital shuttle. Nothing had prepared him for the Odyssey. "Pre-launch checks complete," he reported, his voice steady despite the knowledge that he was sitting atop enough energy to level a continent if the containment fields failed. Beside him, Navigation Officer Anna Miller and Systems Engineer Jack Thompson completed their own sequences, each movement precise, rehearsed hundreds of times in simulation. "Odyssey, you are cleared for Launch Protocol Alpha," came General Hayes' voice through the secure channel. "Godspeed." The mountain facility had been specifically chosen for its remote location. Even so, as the massive hangar doors fully retracted, revealing the Starship in all its glory, thousands of unauthorized observers had gathered on distant ridgelines, their cameras trained on what was about to become the most significant technological revelation in human history. "Gravity drive initializing," Jack reported. "Field stability at 98.9% and holding." The Odyssey didn't roar into the sky like the chemical rockets of the previous century. It rose silently, gracefully, surrounded by a subtle distortion that made it difficult to focus on directly, like trying to track a soap bubble in bright sunlight. Within moments, it had accelerated beyond visual range, leaving behind only a faint atmospheric shimmer and thousands of witnesses to humanity's greatest achievement. In orbit, Michael took manual control, feeling the ship respond to the subtlest adjustments. "She handles like a dream," he murmured. "Lunar distance achieved in 4.3 seconds, Anna confirmed, her voice tinged with awe. "Gravity drive performing beyond projected specifications." Their mission was both simple and monumentally complex: intercept the approaching anomaly, determine its nature and intentions, and report back to Earth. The fate of humanity might well rest on what they discovered. As they accelerated past Mars, Jack monitored the drive systems. "We're mapping new physics with every light minute we travel," he said. "The theoretical models are being rewritten in real time." The ship's semi-autonomous intelligence, which the crew had taken to calling Odysseus, continuously adjusted the gravity field, compensating for interstellar phenomena that no human had ever encountered. Preparing for first FTL transition, Michael announced, securing his harness. "Odysseus, execute Jump Protocol 1. The stars around them seemed to stretch, reality itself becoming elastic as the gravity drive created its space-time bubble. For a subjective microsecond that felt like eternity, the crew experienced a sensation that defied description, as if they were simultaneously everywhere and nowhere. Then it passed, and the view screen showed unfamiliar star patterns. They had crossed 5 light years in an eye blink. "Jump successful," Anna confirmed, her voice barely above a whisper. Position verified. We're in the Centauri system. Michael allowed himself a moment to absorb the magnitude of what they'd accomplished. Humans had left their solar system for the first time, crossing a void that had seemed untraversable throughout all of history until this moment. The celebration was short-lived. 3 hours later, as they prepared for their second jump toward the intercepted anomaly, Odysseus detected something impossible. A signal embedded in the ship's own communication systems, using encryption protocols that matched their own. The message was brief and chilling. Turn back. What you seek has already found you. It's coming from inside our own systems, Jack reported, his fingers flying across the diagnostic interface. But I can't isolate the source. It's like the message was always there, waiting to be discovered. Captain Anderson ordered a complete systems lockdown, every subsystem isolated and checked. Nothing explained the mysterious message. As they approached the coordinates where the anomaly had been tracked, the Odyssey's sensors detected only empty space. Whatever had been traveling toward Earth had vanished, or had never been there at all. Could the entire mission be based on false data? Anna wondered aloud, reviewing the astronomical readings for the 100th time. Their questions multiplied when the gravity drive began exhibiting unexpected behavior. During routine operations, Odysseus reported quantum fluctuations that shouldn't have been possible, as if the drive were responding to external influences. It's like the ship is having a conversation we can't hear, Emma Reed told them during their daily communication with Earth. Her holographic projection looked troubled. The energy signatures matched patterns we observed in the Antarctic fragments. On the 7th day of their mission, as they performed a detailed scan of a seemingly empty region of space, something changed. The view screens flickered, showing momentary glimpses of impossible geometries, structures that seemed to fold in on themselves in dimensions beyond human perception. Odysseus is registering a massive object directly ahead, Anna reported, but visual confirmation shows nothing. Michael made the decision that would later be scrutinized by 100 review boards. Take us closer, 1/4 power. As they approached the coordinates, reality itself seemed to waver. The crew experienced shared hallucinations, memories that couldn't possibly be theirs, visions of Earth from perspectives no human had ever witnessed, spanning thousands of years. It's communicating, Michael realized. Not with words or signals, with experiences. A sudden surge of energy engulfed the ship, and for 17 minutes, all systems went dark. When power returned, the Odyssey had been moved, or had moved itself, to a position half a light year from its previous location. In the ship's database, they discovered new information. Detailed schematics for technology centuries beyond current human capabilities, star maps of regions no telescope had ever observed, and a single text file containing coordinates within Earth's solar system. They're coordinates for Neptune's L4 Lagrange point. Anna confirmed. But there's nothing there. We've mapped that region extensively. The most disturbing discovery came when they examined the ship's exterior through maintenance drones. The Odyssey's hull had been altered, inscribed with patterns that matched those found on the Antarctic fragments. Patterns that seemed to shift when not directly observed. As they prepared for the return journey, Michael recorded his official log. We have made contact with something beyond our comprehension. It knows us. It may have been watching us for millennia. And I believe the Odyssey was never meant to find it. It was meant to be found. Their return jump placed them precisely at the Neptune coordinates from the mysterious file. What they found there defied explanation. A structure of impossible size and complexity, somehow hidden from Earth's most advanced detection systems. It had been waiting there, in humanity's cosmic backyard, all along. 10 years after the Odyssey's historic voyage, Dr. Emma Reed stood at the podium of the newly established Interstellar Academy, addressing the first graduating class of Starship commanders. When we built the Odyssey, we thought we were reaching for the stars, she told them, gesturing toward the memorial display showing Captain Anderson and his crew. We didn't understand that the stars had already reached for us. The structure discovered at Neptune's Lagrange point had revealed itself to be an ancient monitoring station, one of thousands scattered throughout the galaxy, placed by a civilization that had evolved beyond physical form millions of years ago. They called themselves the Guardians, though the name was an approximation that human language could express. They had watched over countless developing species, intervening only when civilization reached the cusp of either transcendence or self-destruction. "They nudged us," Emma explained. "The Antarctic fragments, the anomaly that drew our attention, all careful interventions designed to help us take the next evolutionary step. In the decade since first contact, humanity had changed more than in the previous 1,000 years. The Guardian knowledge, carefully parceled out to prevent cultural shock, had revolutionized medicine, energy production, and ecological restoration. Earth's remaining conflicts had largely subsided as resources became abundant and the greater cosmic community came into focus. Odyssey-class ships now regularly traveled between nearby star systems, establishing humanity's first extrasolar colonies. Tom Jackson, now director of the Starship Corps, often reflected on how quickly humans had adapted to their new reality. "We went from thinking we were alone in the universe to understanding we're part of something vaster than we could have imagined," he told the documentary crew. "And somehow, it didn't break us. It made us better." The Guardians themselves remained enigmatic, communicating primarily through mathematical concepts and shared experiential data. They made it clear that humanity would not be given technology it hadn't earned or couldn't handle responsibly. "Their teachers, not saviors," was how Michael Anderson had described them in his final transmission before embarking on the first human expedition to the Guardian Network's central hub, a journey from which he had yet to return. The original Odyssey now orbited Earth as a museum and monument, visited by millions each year. Children born after the contact grew up taking for granted concepts that had once been considered impossible, that consciousness could exist beyond physical form, that reality had more dimensions than humans could perceive, that time itself was more fluid than solid. As Emma concluded her address, she shared the perspective that had become her personal mantra. The day the Odyssey arrived wasn't actually about the ship at all. It was about humanity arriving, appearing on the cosmic stage as a recognized participant, rather than just an observer. The new starships preparing for launch were more advanced than the Odyssey in every way, incorporating Guardian principles that worked with the fabric of space-time rather than against it. They carried the best of humanity outward, along with the humility that came from knowing they were neither the first nor the most advanced intelligence to travel the stars. "The universe is vast beyond comprehension," Emma told the graduating cadets. "But for the first time, we can say with certainty that we are not alone in it, and perhaps more importantly, we never were." As the ceremony concluded, news arrived from the Deep Space Communication Array. The detection of a signal matching Michael Anderson's unique quantum signature. After 3 years of silence, the Odyssey's captain was coming home, and according to the preliminary data, he was not returning alone. Humanity's journey among the stars was just beginning.